The snow was falling heavily as Ryan and I trudged through the Wyoming wilderness, our boots crunching on the fresh powder. My straight best friend had invited me on this hunting trip to clear his head before his wedding to Sarah. But I never expected it would lead to the moment that changed everything. When he pulled me close to share body heat in the freezing cabin after we got lost. His lips met mine in a kiss that was both desperate and tender. I knew our lives would never be the same. We had been best friends since we were kids in our small town outside Jackson Hole. Ryan was the guy everyone admired. Tall, strong, quick with a laugh, the kind of man who could fix any engine and charm any room. I was Ethan, the quieter one, working as a high school counselor, always careful to keep my personal life hidden. My father was the pastor at the biggest church in the county, and my mother organized every community event. Being gay in a place like this meant living with secrets that weighed heavier than the mountain snow. Ryan called me 2 weeks earlier, voice excited over the phone. "Come on, Ethan. Just you and me like old times. Uncle's cabin is free, elk are moving. Sarah's got wedding stuff anyway. We need this." I hesitated. Spending days alone with the man I'd quietly loved for years felt dangerous. But I said yes. I always said yes to Ryan. The drive up was easy at first. We talked about nothing important: football, trucks, the price of gas. The cabin sat deep in the national forest, a rustic log place with a wood stove and no cell service. The first 2 days were perfect. We hiked at dawn, rifles slung over our shoulders, breath visible in the cold air. Ryan moved through the woods like he belonged there, pointing out tracks, teaching me tricks I'd never quite mastered. At night we sat by the fire, passing a flask of whiskey, laughing about high school pranks. On the third night, the storm hit without warning. The sky turned black, wind howling like something alive. We had been tracking a wounded elk and got turned around. Visibility dropped to nothing. I slipped on an icy ledge, twisting my ankle badly. Pain shot up my leg. Ryan found me after what felt like hours, his face pale with worry. He half carried, half dragged me back through the blizzard to the cabin. Inside, the fire was almost out. We stripped off wet clothes, shivering violently. Ryan wrapped us both in every blanket we had and pulled me against his chest. "Stay awake, man. Don't go into shock." His heart hammered against my back. The warmth of his body seeped into mine. For a long time we just breathed together, the wind screaming outside. Then he spoke, voice low and rough. "Ethan, I've been lying to myself for years." I froze. He shifted, turning me to face him. His blue eyes searched mine in the firelight. "This trip, being out here with you, it made me see it. I don't think I'm straight. Not really. Not when it comes to you." Before I could respond, he leaned in and kissed me. It was clumsy at first, hesitant, then deep and certain. My hands found his shoulders. The world narrowed to the taste of whiskey and snow on his lips. We pulled apart, breathing hard. "Ryan, what about Sarah?" I whispered. He closed his eyes. "I don't know. I just know I can't marry her feeling this." We talked until the fire died to embers. He admitted the doubts had been building for months. The engagement felt like a script he was following. Being with me felt real. I confessed my own feelings, years of silent longing. We fell asleep tangled together, the storm still raging. Morning brought weak sunlight and heavy silence. My ankle throbbed. Ryan made coffee and checked the weather radio. The roads would be clear enough by afternoon. We barely spoke about the kiss at first. The drive home was tense, filled with stolen glances and unfinished sentences. When we reached town, Ryan dropped me at my apartment. "I need to talk to Sarah. Tonight." He squeezed my hand before I got out. "This isn't over, Ethan. I promise." I watched his truck disappear down the street, heart pounding with equal parts hope and terror. What had we started? And what price would we pay? The next 48 hours felt like living inside a pressure cooker. Ryan called me at midnight after the first night back. His voice was raw. I told her. She cried. Then she got quiet. said she always suspected something was off. She's hurt, man. Really hurt. But she didn't scream or throw things. She just asked me to leave. I sat on my couch in the dark, phone pressed to my ear, guilt twisting in my gut. Sarah had been part of our friend group for years. Kind funny, the type of woman who baked cookies for church events. I had just helped blow up her future. Ryan moved into a small apartment above his shop the next day. We met secretly at a pull-off outside town that night. He looked exhausted but determined. Under the truck's dashboard light, he kissed me again, slower this time, like he was memorizing the feeling. "I don't regret it," he said against my mouth. "For the first time in years, I feel like I can breathe." We talked for hours about how to handle the fallout. He wanted to tell his parents soon. I begged him to wait. My own family still didn't know about me. The thought of my father's face when he found out made my stomach turn. Word traveled fast in a town of 8,000 people. By the end of the week, whispers started. Ryan's mother called him crying, asking if the rumors were true. His father, a hard rancher who still ran cattle in the high country, went silent on the phone. Sarah's family was furious. Her brother, who worked with Ryan at the garage, confronted him at work. "You used my sister as cover?" The fight was loud enough that customers heard. I tried to stay low. At school, students sensed something was off. One of my counseling kids, a quiet boy struggling with his own identity, asked if everything was okay. I lied and said yes. Inside, I was drowning in conflict. Was I selfish for letting this happen? Ryan had been straight his whole life, or at least lived that way. Had the isolation of the mountains confused him? Or was this real? Every time he touched me, it felt real. But the guilt was crushing. Then the first betrayal came. One of our mutual friends, Mike, who had joined us on hunts before, called me. "Dude, what the hell? Ryan's throwing his life away. Sarah's devastated. You need to back off." I hung up, shaking. The town was choosing sides, and the lines were being drawn in blood. Ryan and I met again that weekend at the cabin, needing space from the pressure. The drive up was different this time. No easy laughter, just heavy silence broken by nervous conversation. We built a fire and sat close. He traced the line of my jaw with his thumb. "I love you, Ethan. I think I've loved you for years and was too scared to name it." Tears stung my eyes. We held each other through the night, talking about the future. Maybe moving to Denver, starting over where no one knew us. But leaving meant abandoning everything. Family, jobs, the only home we'd known. Sunday night, we drove back. Ryan's phone buzzed constantly. His mother had told the pastor, my father. The text from Dad was simple: "Come to the house. Now, we need to talk." My hands shook on the wheel. The storm we thought we'd escaped in the mountains was just beginning. My father's study smelled of old books and coffee, the same as it had since I was a boy. He sat behind his big oak desk, Bible open in front of him. Mom stood by the window, arms crossed, eyes red. Ryan waited in his truck outside, giving me space, but I could feel his presence like a lifeline. Dad didn't waste time. "Is it true? Are you involved with Ryan?" His voice cracked on the name. I nodded, unable to speak at first. Then the words came out in a rush. How the trip had changed everything. How Ryan had been questioning for years. How this wasn't a phase or a sin I chose. Dad listened, face growing harder with every sentence. When I finished, he closed the Bible slowly. "This town raised you. The church raised you. And now you're throwing it away for this?" Mom started crying quietly. "Think of your sister. Think of the example you're setting." They gave me an ultimatum. End it, go to counseling through the church, or they would have to step back from our relationship. I left the house feeling hollow. Ryan took one look at my face and pulled me into a tight hug right there in the driveway. "We'll get through this," he whispered. But his own parents were worse. His father had already changed the locks on the family ranch house. His mother left voicemails saying she didn't raise him to live in sin. The real storm hit on Wednesday. Sarah posted a long message on social media, not naming us directly, but everyone knew. When the person you trusted most betrays you with your friend, it breaks something deep. Comments flooded in. Old classmates, church members, parents of my students. Some offered prayers. Others were vicious. Disgusting. Ryan was always too soft. Ethan corrupted him. At work the next day, the principal called me in. Parents are complaining. We need to put you on leave until things calm down. I cleaned out my desk under the stares of colleagues I'd known for years. One, a woman I'd considered a friend, turned away when I said goodbye. Ryan lost 2 major accounts at the garage. His boss, a longtime family friend, suggested he take some time. We spent nights at my apartment, talking until dawn. Ryan wrestled with crushing guilt. Sarah didn't deserve this. My parents, they're good people. I destroyed them. I wrestled with my own demons. Was love supposed to cost this much? Every kiss felt stolen now, shadowed by the pain we were causing. Then came the confrontation that broke something in both of us. Ryan's brother showed up at my door with 2 cousins. They didn't touch me, but the words were worse. You're ruining him. He was happy before you. Fix this or we'll make sure the whole county knows what kind of man you are. Ryan arrived minutes later and stood between us, voice shaking with rage and grief. He's the one I love. Get out. After they left, Ryan cried for the first time since the trip. Real, shoulder-shaking sobs. I held him, feeling the weight of every choice we'd made. The town was turning on us. Families were fracturing, and the worst was still coming. The betrayal that hurt most came from someone we trusted. Mike, the friend who'd called me earlier, recorded a private conversation with Ryan at the garage. In it, Ryan admitted he had feelings for me long before the hunting trip. Mike sent the audio to Sarah's family and posted it anonymously in the town's online forum. By morning, the whole county had heard it. Ryan's phone exploded. His mother called screaming. His father drove into town and waited outside the apartment, demanding Ryan come home and act like a man. When Ryan refused, his father disowned him on the spot, voice carrying across the parking lot. You are no son of mine. Neighbors watched from windows. I stood inside, helpless, watching the man I loved shatter. My own family went public too. Dad preached a sermon that Sunday titled, The Cost of Compromise. He didn't name us, but the message was clear. Several church members approached me afterward with pamphlets about healing homosexuality. Mom stopped answering my calls. We tried to keep working. I picked up odd jobs tutoring online. Ryan did freelance mechanic work out of a friend's barn. But the harassment grew. Tires slashed on my car. Notes left on the windshield calling us names. One night someone threw a rock through the apartment window with a Bible verse attached. We moved to a cheap motel on the edge of town, paying cash. The inner conflict tore at me constantly. At night, while Ryan slept, I lay awake questioning everything. Had I pushed him into this? Was my love selfish? He had lost his family, his reputation, his future plans. All because of one kiss in the mountains. Ryan struggled too. Some mornings he woke up distant, staring at old photos of Sarah and his parents on his phone. I miss them, he admitted once. But I can't go back to pretending. It would kill me. We had our first real fight in the motel room. He accused me of not understanding the depth of what he'd lost. I accused him of resenting me for it. We yelled, then cried, then held each other in exhausted silence. The makeup was tender, full of whispered apologies and promises. We're in this together, he said. No matter what. The climax of the pressure came at the annual Community Harvest Festival. We stupidly decided to attend, thinking we could show we weren't hiding. The moment we walked in, the crowd quieted. Sarah was there with her family. She looked at us, eyes filled with pain, then turned away. Ryan's father approached, voice low and dangerous. You have embarrassed this family for the last time. He listed everything Ryan had lost. Inheritance, respect, a normal life. Then he looked at me. You did this to my son. Ryan stepped forward, voice steady despite the tears. No, Dad. I did this because for the first time I'm being honest about who I am. The words hung in the air. His father walked away without another word. That night, back at the motel, Ryan made a decision. We can't stay here. The town is poisoning us. Let's go to Denver. Start fresh. Just us. I agreed, but the cost weighed on my soul. We were choosing love, but we were leaving destruction behind. Packing to leave felt like burying our old lives. We sold what we could, gave away the rest, and loaded Ryan's truck with the essentials. The night before we left, we drove up to the overlook where we'd parked as teenagers. The lights of the town spread below us, familiar and now hostile. Ryan took my hand. I don't regret the trip. I regret how much it hurt everyone else. His honesty cut deep. We sat in silence, the weight of every broken relationship pressing down. The drive to Denver took 2 days. We found a small apartment in a neighborhood where no one knew us. I got a job at a community center working with at-risk youth. Ryan found work at a larger auto shop. On the surface, things were better. No stares, no whispers. We could hold hands in public. We cooked dinner together, laughed without fear, made love with the lights on and the curtains open. But the damage followed us. Ryan's nightmares started. Dreams of his father's face, Sarah crying, the church bells ringing condemnation. He woke up gasping some nights, reaching for me like I was the only solid thing left. I struggled with guilt that never fully left. Therapy helped, but the questions remained. Had we been brave or reckless? Were we entitled to this happiness when it came at such a cost to others? We tried to rebuild bridges. Ryan sent letters to his parents. I called mine on holidays. Most went unanswered. Sarah eventually replied to Ryan's apology email. She was dating someone new but said the betrayal still stung. I hope you're happy, she wrote, but I hope you understand what you took from me. The words haunted him for weeks. A new kind of tension grew between us. The drama had bonded us, but now in the quiet of normal life, we had to learn who we were without the fight. Some days Ryan seemed distant, wondering if he'd made the right choice. I pushed him to go to a support group for men questioning their sexuality later in life. He went reluctantly and came back thoughtful. It helped. I'm not broken. I'm just me. One weekend we drove back to Wyoming for a court date involving some old property. The town felt smaller, meaner. Old friends crossed the street to avoid us. My sister met us secretly at a diner. She hugged me tight. Dad's stubborn, but Mom cries sometimes when she thinks no one's listening. They love you. They're just scared. It was a small crack of light, but it gave me hope. Back in Denver, the fights became rarer but deeper. During one argument about whether to invite my sister for Christmas, Ryan finally voiced his deepest fear. Sometimes I wonder if I would have stayed straight if we never went on that trip. The words hung between us like smoke. I didn't sleep that night. In the morning I told him, if you need to go back, I won't stop you. I love you enough to let you go. He pulled me close. I don't want to go back. I want to build forward. With you. We chose each other again, but the scars remained. A year later, we stood on a ridge in the Colorado mountains, not far from where our story began but far enough to breathe. Ryan had proposed the night before, simple, just us and a ring bought with money from his first big promotion. No big ceremony, no families present. Just the promise that whatever came next, we faced it together. Life in Denver had settled into a rhythm. We had new friends, a small chosen family. I volunteered with LGBTQ youth groups, helping kids who reminded me of my younger self. Ryan coached a youth mechanics program. The work gave us purpose beyond our own survival. But the past still called. Ryan's mother sent a birthday card that year, the first contact in months. Inside was a short note. I miss my son. No mention of me, but it was something. My father still preached against the gay lifestyle. Yet my sister said he asked about me sometimes when no one else was around. We visited Wyoming twice more. The second time, Ryan's father saw us at a gas station. He didn't speak, but he didn't look away either. Small steps, painful ones. The inner conflicts never fully disappeared. There were nights I still questioned if our love was worth the wreckage. Ryan had lost his inheritance, his childhood home, the easy respect of the community. Sarah had moved on but carried scars. Families were divided. I had lost the approval of the church that raised me. Yet when I looked at Ryan, laughing in the kitchen, holding me after a hard day, planning a future that included kids through adoption, I knew the truth. Love like this doesn't ask permission. It demands courage. One evening on our ridge, watching the sun set over the peaks, Ryan turned to me. If we could go back to that hunting trip, knowing everything that would happen, would you still kiss me? I thought about the pain, the betrayals, the losses. Then I thought about the man beside me, finally free to be himself. Yes, I said. Every time. We had paid a terrible price. But we had also found something rare, authenticity in a world that demanded conformity. The question that remains, for us and perhaps for anyone reading this, is simple. Was the love between my straight friend and me worth all the destruction it caused? Or should we have buried our feelings forever to protect the people around us? What would you have done?